Hi, you precious, beautiful, glorious human. You are so brave. You came to Earth. You came to Earth. You came to Earth to grow your soul. And if you found this channel, you might have been banging around, and it might have gotten you into some glorious, beautiful, messy situations. And something's probably calling you home to your heart. And this is the first time that I'm gonna actually post, and I had all of these plans to be this glorious, perfect human, and and my soul, Jewelz, Joi the human, Jewelz the soul, she was like, oh no. And it's not a she. I'm sure the soul is so much bigger than I can wrap my mind around, but the higher, most expansive version of myself said, oh no, we're gonna do this messy. You're gonna have been crying and having this major moment out on the water, doing a dance and kind of a movement meditation, and an honoring to Mother Gaia, but also a surrender and release, because it's time. And I've chosen to dim my light for a long time, and that was part of my process. And in all actuality, unless I had gone through all the chaos, and unless I had lived such a turbulent life experience and then gone inward on this journey of self-inquiry and going within and doing the shadow work, I wouldn't have anything to offer right now. It is going to be a shaky camera this time, and I'm going to have my earpieces in, and I'm going to have no makeup on and no idea how to even edit this or post it. But my soul, Jewelz, said it's time to let me come out through the fullest expression through you. And that's what makes us important. I think that for a long time, I was confused for a very long time, still maybe even today, of where I get my value from, where I get my, where I get my worthiness from, my lovableness. And until I started to go within, I realized that those things were already done. And I got this deep clarity that I'm a VIP because my soul needs me to express through. That's what life does. Life expresses through the human. And that's what keeps the eternal in eternity, coming down here to this glorious platform that's hardcore. The suffering feels very real. It very much does. And I think now I can actually honor the sensitivity that I've had since I was young. It ended up being, now that I understand, is my gift, because I've felt so much suffering my whole life. There's this deep level of compassion for those who are feeling it too. But I had to live, because I was going to die, and there was no doubt about it. It was close, and I made a choice to live. But I had been on survival my whole life. We're talking over 50 decades, and it was like, if I'm going to survive and I'm gonna I'm gonna do this, I want to thrive, and the only way that I was going to thrive was to go inward to my heart space and reconnect to who I really am, which is the infinite version of myself, which is my soul. And thus the dance between human and soul, that I call playing life into soul shape, was born. And it's glorious, and it's messy, and it's why I came here. But I have to choose the light. I have to choose the light because of the way that I'm physiologically made, hormonally made, chemically made. I need to live. I've got an almost 8-year-old daughter, but I want to live because it's what my soul is calling me to do, is to live the fullest version of myself. And I have to do that the most sparkly, iridescent, endless possibilities, infinite potential, audaciously prosperous way. I have to do that for me, because otherwise I suffer. And what kind of, I'm not really gonna give the people that I love and my planet the light if I'm gone. So I choose the light, not because I don't know suffering, because I do. I had a meditation that where I saw a very famous person, and you can enter in an athlete, most famous musician, most famous actor, and they're up on the stage, and they've got every single follower they have. So whatever, put in whatever millions of followers they have, or fan clubs they have, and put them all in a stadium that was completely dark, right? And this person, this influencer, right? Because they have a lot of influence, right? They're up on the stage and everything's black. No one can even see their hand in front of their face, right? And they've got the choice. They've got this thing in their hand where they can click, right? They can click this huge screen that's going to light up the whole entire stadium on the left, which is all the beautiful things in the world, right? It's all the things that are going right, all the things that are shiny and sparkly, and things are always working out for us, and there's always plenty, and source energy's got our back, and we came down here to grow our souls, but we always knew that we were going to have the power that creates worlds behind us, and that we're never alone, and we've never been abandoned, and just, people love, and that's who they really are. And, just a whole rampage of like all the positivity and the unicorns and rainbows that you can think of, right? And in their right hand, they also have the ability to be able to click and say, these are the horrors of the world. This is what's suffering. This is what's going wrong. These are the wars. These are the terrible things. And they only can click one thing, right? And what's going to light up in that room, and what every single eye will go to, is whatever screen they choose, right? Because they can only choose left or right. They can only choose the light or the absence of light. And they've got to make the choice of where they want their audience to look. Do they want them to look left, or do they want them to look right? And I had to ask myself that, because of the way that I was born so sensitive, I actually become debilitated when I go into the problem. And it's real, anyone who has a child, when we see them suffer or whatever, I will imagine. I can only speak for myself. I know that when my child suffers, sometimes I will just become debilitated. And then who gets hurt? She does, because I can't function. I'm in my head, I'm fighting, and I'm grappling, I'm at war, I've let my mind ego take over. And so for me personally, I'm choosing the light. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to have fear thoughts come up. Doesn't mean that my ego isn't going to play contrast out. But it doesn't do the world any good for me to focus on the problem. Will I use the problem in order to get clarity? Will I notice the problem and give it over to my spirit team? Will I forget all of this and fall on my face? Yes. Will I accidentally yell at my daughter? Possibly. Will I stand on this platform and say, love, light, and joy, love, light, and joy, and then fall into fear? Probably. But will I dust off, and will I come home to my heart? Because I have not come this far to fall into the darkness. I will choose love, light, and joy time and time again, and I will choose to come home to my heart and to play with you. So thank you. This might be a really hot mess, but look at that. Like, look what God did. See, that's the thing. It's like, you probably didn't even look at me or hear me, because what's behind me is so beautiful. And all right, let's play. Yay!